Hi everyone, welcome back to the Lewis Pickman Football Show. On today's show is another episode of Brother v Brother predictions. Today we're going to pick our Premier League predictions and where we think each team's going to finish in the Premier League table. So first of all, I'm going to do my bottom three, who I think will get relegated from the Premier League this season. In 20th spot, I've got West Brom. West Brom, I talked about in my preview, had a few loan signings that they've had to send back, but luckily for them, they've actually signed them. Kravinovic from Benfica has come back on loan. Dean Garner have signed on a permanent deal from West Ham. I think it's a great signing. However, just with the squad and everyone else's squad, I'm picking West Brom to finish 20th. 19th, another promoted team, Fulham, under Scott Parker, done well to win the playoffs, but I just think the strong enough. Mitrovic up front has Premier League experience, and I think if they've got any chance of survival, he has to stay fully fit and be firing. But for me, it's a 19th place finish. And last but not least, 18 is another Midlands club, Aston Villa. Jack Grealish looks like he'll stay, but I still don't think the defensive record was appalling last season. And for me, they won't be as lucky as they were last season. Villa, 18th, relegated. Right, so that's my bottom three. Callum, what you going with this season?
Well, as you can see above me, we've exactly got the same. We do this separate, these predictions.
Yeah, we didn't know.
We didn't know what it was going to be. But same again, I've got West Brom. Finished the season actually poorly last season.
Yeah,
we got really lucky to get back in the Premier League. And I just think, if Charlie Austin's your main man in the Premier League, I just don't think it's enough firing power to keep us up. So bottom of the drop for me. Fulham, another promoted side. Again, also quite lucky to get through, really. Yeah. Beating the Brentford side and fair play and that. I also think Mitrovic is a very good Championship striker, and I don't think he's got enough firing power also to do it in the Premier League, to be honest with you. Obviously he was at Newcastle before, he kind of did it there, but I just don't think it's enough for that full squad, and even a bit of an inexperienced Scott Parker is not enough to keep Fulham in. And then Villa, so exactly the same as Awalu. Jack Grealish, what a player, do you know what I mean? Their best player by a mile, like I say, he is going to stay. But you look at like some Mata up front, it's just not enough. I mean, they have been linked with Callum Wilson, but I think today he may be going to Newcastle, so that's a massive loss. There's double figures in goals for them, and I just don't think it's going to be enough this season for them.
Yeah, I think with Villa as well, what I didn't mention is Samata and Wesley at the start of the season, Samata in January, both come in for a lot of money and haven't done it. I thought when they were linked with Callum Wilson, I thought, fits straight into Villa's team. But yeah, it looks like he's going to Newcastle.
Well, I think the last 140 million last year, which is just crazy, absolutely stupid money. And I can't see them spending that much money again, and they've still got the same type of squad anyways.
Right, and now I'm going to let Callum do his next three places: 17th, 16th, and 15th.
Yep. So 17th, I've got Brighton. Good addition to the lineup. Quite an experienced player, but still getting on now, isn't he? Really, let's be honest, he's not going to make a huge difference to their season, unfortunately. Good keeping Dunk. I think their captain, their leader, he's just huge. I probably would have put you in the bottom three. Genuinely, looking at your squad, if you lost Dunk. Graham Potter's a great manager, but I think lacking in goals, and I just think he's going to be further down the table this time around, unfortunately. Back on to 16th Crystal Palace. I mean, there's one name against Wilfred Zaha. I mean, that guy's not playing. You could just say goodbye to the Premier League. Signed Eze from QPR. I did mention in the last video that I was featured in. I just always think the same about Palace. I just think it's quite a lacklustre squad barring Zaha, and I just think he's that important, and if he's not playing, I just think he's going to be further down the table. Big shock, my next one probably, Sheffield United. I think it's going to be a second season syndrome for you guys. Obviously lost Henderson to Manchester United, brought in Ramsdale. Yeah. Obviously not as great as a keeper. It's a big loss that I think Henderson just is in the confidence factor looking back at your back five and seeing him there. I like Ollie McBurnie, he's a player. I think he's a really good, strong player, but he's just not that calibre. I think he's going to be safe, but I think it'll be second season syndrome. You will fall down the table slightly.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And now I'll do mine, 17th, 16th and 15th. 17th place, I've got Newcastle United. Obviously the takeover was meant to happen, and then another takeover was meant to happen. If you watch my Premier League preview, you'll see that I mentioned how far down Newcastle were in expected goals and things like that. And where they finished last season really didn't match where the stats said they should have finished. As I'm recording this, it looks like Callum Wilson will go there, and I think it's a big signing. I think he'll do bits for them. But like I said, at the back, very poor. 17th, just surviving. 16th, Crystal Palace, survival, but nothing to write home about. Callum mentioned Wilfred Zaha. Looks like he might put a transfer request in, like he did before. I can't see anyone going and spending 80 million, 90 million on Wilfred Zaha. So for me, he stays at Palace, and great news for Palace. He keeps them up. And 15th, I've gone Brighton. Like I said in my preview, I love watching Brighton. I think Graham Potter's really underrated manager. Turned them into a good footballing side. Another, like Callum mentioned, Dunk. You know how much of a big fan I am of Lewis Dunk. Looked like he was going to Chelsea. Thought it would be a huge loss for Brighton. Ended up signing a new 5-year contract. Brilliant. The keeper, Matt Ryan, solid. And for me, 15th, solid Premier League season. And now I'm going to finish off my bottom half of the table. 14th, 13th, 12th and 11th. In 14th, I've got Sheffield United. Chris Wilder, I think he's a great manager. What a job he did last season. Second season syndrome, that Callum said he's got them a bit lower than me, but I do think it will kick in this season. The thing that I worry about for Sheffield United is the 3-5-2 that worked so well for them last season. I think teams might cotton onto it and stop the fullbacks getting forward. But for me, survival, 14th place. 13th, I've got Burnley, another solid season in the Premier League. Obviously, they always overachieve, always survive, always not really in a relegation scrap. And that's all down to Sean Dyche. The people to look out for Burnley next season, the front two, Chris Wood and Jay Rodriguez, formed a good partnership at the end of last season. I think they'll continue into this season and they work well off each other. 12th place, new boys, Leeds United, Bielsa. That's the reason I've got him in 12th place. His tactics, his pressing, he just seems to get everything right. He's worked all over Europe and I just think he's a great manager. I think if I offered Leeds 12th place, they'd absolutely snap your hands off. And for me, Bielsa's the key.
Even are you?
Yeah, but I think 12. If they finish 12th
Yeah,
in the new season in the Premier League, they haven't been up, which obviously they haven't been in for ages. 12th, I think, would be a great season for Leeds United. And 11th, I've got West Ham United. How West Ham were in a relegation battle last season, I'll never know. David Moyes come in and actually steadied the ship. I know Hammers fans weren't happy with Moyes coming back in, but he did steady the ship. Antonio up front just was top scorer in the Premier League after lockdown. I think he'll continue up front. And Haller scored 2 in 2 pre-season games, so maybe in his second season of the Premier League he'll adapt a bit more. For me, West Ham will be mid-table this season, nowhere near a relegation battle like last season. Right, so that was my bottom half. As you can see, it's Callum's turn, and who have you gone for your positions, mate?
Burnley, similar position that you had them, to be honest with you. Very solid. I mean, like Lowe saying, overachievers, and I just can't see him going anywhere. I think Sean Dyche, credit him, was a great manager. You mentioned the 2 up front's great. And Dwight McNeil absolutely played every game for them last season. Just that create. I think Burnley have always needed that bit of creative.
Yeah, I think I agree.
And he's the guy. I mean, Manu was sniffing about him for 35 million, but reported it looks like he's not going anywhere. He's going to be staying at Turf Moor. And I think a solid season overall.
Burnley rely a lot on set pieces, and I think his addition is
it's just something different.
Yeah,
he's not a Burnley player.
No.
It's great addition to have. Next, I'm going to go 13 Leeds. The back in the big time, 16 years out. Bielsa, again, for me, it's just without him they wouldn't be anywhere, would they? Let's be honest. Leeds fans will say that they worship him like a god. Don't think Bamford's going to do very well for them, if I'm being quite honest, but that's why, hey, you go and spend almost £30 million on Rodrigo. I see him the other night, very pacey, getting in and behind. And what also Bielsa like, he's a very hard worker, Rodrigo. So 12 for Leeds, welcome back to the big time. Newcastle, like I say, I've just mentioned about Callum Wilson. It looks like they're going to get him, and if they do, that's a huge addition. And I think Steve Bruce does not get credit where credit's due.
I think Newcastle 12's a bit high for me, but
right, like this prediction too, we'll see who's getting red-arsed at the end of them. But Callum Wilson, great signing. I think Steve Bruce just needs credit. I mean, the takeover on and off will disrupt the camp slightly, but I think it's with Bruce. Do you know what I mean? I think Bruce is going to do really well with them. And then I've got 11. I've got Southampton. Danny Ings, the main man. Incredible season last season. Was he 3rd top goal scorer in the league last season? Got into 20 figures.
Joint second. Well,
there you go. Absolutely amazing. Nathan Redmond, look at a pacey side. James Ward-Prowse, great from set pieces. Just really solid. Just, I think underestimated Southampton. Really a solid team, and I think just beneath the top 10.
Right, so now we're going to move on to the top half. 10th, 9th, 8th and 7th. I'll let Cal go first. What are you feeling?
Yeah, West Ham, they've got to do better than last year, really. I mean, David Moyes is a good manager, I do think. I know, like you were saying, the Hammers fans weren't happy about him coming back in, but he steadied the ship, like you said. And my God, have they spent some money. Yarmolenko, I mean, you've got Haller, he was their record sign last season. So there's a lot of talent there that just needs to be. Declan Rice is one of the best CDMs in the league for me. And there's a lot of talent there that needs to be pushed on. If they don't get top half next season, it's a disappointing season for the money that you have spent there. Leicester, 9th, fall from grace from Leicester for me, I'm being honest with you. Obviously they were sat in second at Christmas last year, were they?
And they were in the top 4 when they were, 15 points? They had a 15-14 point gap.
Huge gap. Like Brendan Rodgers, got a great squad, but you're relying on Jamie Vardy again, aren't you, really, for goals? I mean, for the bulk of goals. They've got Perez, James Maddison will knock in with a few, but your bulk of goals is coming from a 33-year-old, 10, 34 in Jamie Vardy. I think that is an area of concern. I think they really should be looking for another striker now. Not saying Vardy won't play this season, but it's a future. Vardy's come at the end of his tenure, I do believe. Even if he got called into it, he may prove me wrong. No. It's a prediction series.
No, but you can't be relying on like if Vardy doesn't fire, obviously Ian Acho's in and out of the team, but he's never been prolific in the Premier League.
Also, just touching on losing Ben Chilwell, every time, like in the past, Leicester have got great players, and Mahrez and Cantona have always gone. Yeah, it's a big shame for them. But Everton, I've got, and this is Ancelotti. He's a serial winner. He does not. I think when they finished last year, was it 12th or something, which is just not good. They've just signed 3 midfielders. I don't know if it's yet to be confirmed. James Rodriguez, Decore, and Allen from Napoli.
Allen is an absolute player. Look out for Allen next season.
Yeah, definitely. 3 quality. Not what people say about James Rodriguez. I think he's lost a bit of pace, but he's technically a great player. You don't play for Imogen Bayern Munich if you're not. Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. I actually do really like Richarlison. I hope he kicks on. He's still young. He's about 22, 23. Same with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. You've got a great manager there. Great funds. Great backing. You should literally be aiming for that top 6, really, to be honest, as a club. But 8 is where I place you. Spurs fans, I've got you 7th, and it was just the 6 teams above you, what I've seen. And I think within Mourinho, I'm good for Tottenham fans when they lost Pochettino, to be honest with you. I think Mourinho's lost his touch. Prove me wrong, Jose Mourinho. You've got Harry Kane there, which could fire from 6th to 4th, don't get me wrong. But I just think it's Mourinho. I just don't believe in Mourinho.
Fair enough. Right, so I'm going to do my 10th to 7th. 10th, I've got Southampton. Ralph Hasenhüttl, what a job he did last season. Anyone who gets beat 9-0 at home by Leicester City keeps the job and then goes on to finish 11th in the Premier League. Unbelievable. Fair play to the board for sticking by him as well, because it could have easily been sacked the next day. In pre-season, they've been playing Ings and Che Adams up front as a 2, and I think that's how they'll start the season. Che Adams looks good in pre-season, and I think he might shock a few people. Want to look out for in your fantasy. But for me, solid team, going to surprise a few people this season. I'm backing them for a 10th place, top half finish. 9th place, Leicester City. 5th last season, bottled the Champions League, and their form towards the end of the season was absolutely horrendous. Lost maybe the 2nd best left back in the league for me, Ben Chilwell, and he's gone to a team that you are meant to be challenging for the top 4. It's not just losing one of your best players, it's losing him to a rival, a contender. You want to be there and thereabouts. Vardy, Premier League top goal scorer last season. For me, I don't think he can be as consistent as he was last season, but hopefully he proves me wrong. For me, 9th, sorry Leicester fans. 8th, Everton. Callum said the money they've spent. Ancelotti's manager. I don't know. I still don't know why Ancelotti went to Everton. No offence, Everton fans, but he can basically get any job in Europe he wants. It's a great acquisition. Allen, I mentioned it. Watch out for Allen this season. Centre defensive midfielder from Napoli. Absolute baller. For me, that last season, way underachieved. Ancelotti will not have this season. I don't think they'll quite break into the top 7, top 6, but I'm backing them for 8. And 7th, Wolves. I was so close. It's Wolves and Callum had them. Yeah, Callum had Tottenham. Callum had Tottenham 7th, and they were my team that I thought Wolves might nick, and I still do think they might nick Tottenham for a 6th place finish. The thing that's going to help Wolves this season, no Europa League, no Thursday, Sunday, best team Saturday every week. 7th. Right, now we're going to do 6th, 5th, 4th and 3rd, and then we'll get on to the title race. I'll let Cal do it
on
first.
The big boys
the
now.
Big boys, yeah.
Wolves, I'm backing you. The Portuguese will not stop. I'm backing you for the top 6. Just signed Fabio Silva, 35 million, 18-year-old. I'll be honest, don't have a clue. He's going to be some absolute wonder kid, but
meant to be, yeah.
It's Nuno's links in Portugal, and the Portuguese are taking over the Premier League as it is. Best Portuguese manager in the Premier League. Another dig at Mourinho there. I just think he will finish above him. Bit of rivalry there.
Definitely.
Their team is immense, and like Lou popped on and said, no Europa League.
It's huge.
Best team every Saturday. Wolves can beat anyone on their day. Genuinely can beat anyone on their day, and I do see them finishing 6th. 5th, I've got Arsenal. I do think there's going to be a gap between this top 4, so I think Wolves and Arsenal, they could even jump a little bit between themselves. That's how highly I think of Wolves. I watched Arsenal in the Community Shield. I thought they were really good. And there's one man I want to just say, it's Aubameyang. I mean, got a few guys lost their news, could have been, well, I wouldn't even like to think. Your captain, your leader, going to be your top goal scorer, your main man. It's nice to have a main man for Arsenal. Obviously, when they lost Sanchez, it's just nice to have that main man back in that squad. I just want to touch on, I watched also highlights of the under 21s. Reed Nelson and Ketty scored a hat-trick. Got some really good young players coming through as well.
Definitely.
Arsenal, promising times again, because they've been down in the dumps really, Arsenal the last couple of seasons. So good season and all for Arsenal. 4th, we've got Manchester United. I think this top 4, like we will get into, it's going to be quite a gap. I think Manchester United went on a great run at the end of last season, and it's looking more like a good squad and a good team now. Bruno Fernandes, what a player! What an impact from January. I've never seen something like it. Just absolutely just transformed it. He's like a magician, which he is on the pitch as well. Front three can do what the one can. The Rashford, Greenwood, and Martial can be whatever they want. Paul Pogba, if he got his head on, he's a world class player. Let's not. He has his up and down, but he's still a world class player, Paul Pogba. And then obviously getting Donny van de Beek as well, who actually, a little fact for you, won the most penalties in the Eredivisie last season. So Bruno's, I love him coming in.
Not that Man United need any more penalties being given.
And then 3rd, what should we say? Big spenders, huge spenders. Chilwell, Havertz, Werner, Ziyech. Who else am I missing centre back?
Yeah, they've got a young centre back called Sarr from Nice on a free transfer, but he's going back on loan.
Yeah, Thiago Silva as well is. People saying is he done?
He's 36-year-old, but he's a winner. He's a serial winner. Someone like that in your dressing room. Experience.
Like
Zuma,
stuff like that.
Tamari, laying bags off him.
And I was in the Champions League final. He didn't look very far. No, at all. Ziyech, great set pieces. What a player he is. And Timo Werner, I can't get over what a signing that is. What a signing. So 3rd, and I do honestly think if that team glues, they'll be knocking on the door of the big 2. But that's my predictions.
Right, now I'm going to do my 6th, 5th, 4th and 3rd. Very similar to Callum's, but 6th I've gone Tottenham. He's digging Mourinho out, but for me, I think he's still got a bit left. Harry Kane scores goals. When you got Harry Kane, your team, you win any game. For me, when I watched them pre-season, they might play 2 up front with Son, so look out for that. They might play Harry Kane and Son up front. The reason I think they might do that, they might go 3-5-2 and play Doherty as a right wing back. They've just signed Matt Doherty from Wolves, the best right wing back obviously in the league last season, assists and goals. And I think they might have had a plan when they signed him to play 3-5-2, so look out for that. But yeah, I think they're just going to pip Wolves, but it's going to be tight. I'm going with Tottenham for 6, just from experience.
He wants to change his mind.
No. 6 Tottenham, 5th Arsenal. Since Arteta come in, brilliant defensively. I didn't think I'd say that about Arsenal. David Luiz, he made them mistakes against Man City. He thought he'd never play. Since then, he's been solid. I thought it was an even game against Liverpool. I know it's a charity shield, but I thought it was an even game. He's mentioned Aubameyang, best signing of the transfer window, keeping Aubameyang. You just can't replace that amount of goals in any team. Never mind a team that's not in the Champions League. It's the best signing. I said it in my preview. I said if they keep it, it's the best signing, and it is the best signing.
Any top European club,
any team he wants. His record over the past 8 years or something. Every season he gets goals. He even got moved out to the left hand side last season. Got 22 Premier League goals. Joke. 4th, Man United. I think the top 4 will be tighter than it has been. Obviously we're leaving the top 2, but there won't be a big of a gap in my opinion. 4th, Man United. After lockdown, breeze to a Champions League spot. Actually champions form. Their form towards the back end of last season. I think Lindelof's improving, and Maguire's a bit. I still think defensively they're just a bit shaky. Going forward, that front four: Fernandes, Greenwood, Martial, and Rashford. Score, let them do what they want.
Yeah.
The person that I mentioned in my preview, Declan Rice, but a CDM, I think Match is okay. But if you've got so many attacking players, you need a really solid CDM, and I think that's where Man United are lacking this season. I'm backing them to still get in the Champions League 4th spot. And third, we've just mentioned it, Chelsea. What a transfer window! Honestly, Timo Werner, I thought he'd be Liverpool, Barcelona, or Real Madrid. Especially Suarez has gone now from Barcelona, which makes me even more think like, did they not know Suarez going? Could they not have went and got Timo Werner? Liverpool, everyone loves Firmino, but against teams you need different things, and I think Werner could, away from home, electric. It'd be interesting to see if he takes to the Premier League. I'm hoping he does for Chelsea fans' sake, and just for pure joy of watching football. If that front four click, Ziyech, I think he'll play Mount just behind with Havertz either to the left.
And even Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, but obviously Pulisic might be injured for the start of the season. But yeah, if you've got Pulisic left, Ziyech right, Havertz just behind Werner, it's a dream front four. Especially what Chelsea missed last season was Kante in front of the back four. I hope they reckon he might get sold.
Yeah, they reckon he's out favour.
Behave. Jorginho, very good passer of the ball, but you need someone sitting if you've got that many attackers. Kante's the best in the world at it. I'm backing them to click, and I'm backing them for third place, and I'm also saying that they'll be a lot closer to Man City and Liverpool than they were last season. Now we get on to the big two, the top two. I think these two will finish top two this season. Like I said, I think they'll be closer, but I still think these are the two to beat. We've looked and we've both gone for the same person to win it, and we've both gone for Manchester City. For me, the reason I've gone for Manchester City, Liverpool the last two seasons have been the most consecutive team I've ever seen. They might prove me wrong again, but I can't.
I've got the same thing as well. They must slip up somewhere.
Yeah.
It's got to be, and I also think it's going to be polar opposites as well. I think Liverpool have to sit up, and City can't be as bad.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's a bit of both.
Yeah,
obviously, it's going to be ever so tight yet again.
Don't get me wrong. I think Liverpool won the league the earliest you could, earliest team to ever win the Premier League, and for me,
and the latest because of course.
Of course, yeah. The thing I'm backing Man City as well. I'm backing them to go get Koulibaly, and that's a big addition. Laporte and Koulibaly both stay fit. Obviously, De Bruyne, best player in the league. Hopefully, Aguero stays fit. I think Mahrez will have a bigger season now. Sané's not breathing down his neck. I know he was injured, but then he started to come back. Liverpool very lucky with injuries. I know, not last season, the season before, they had a couple missing for the Champions League semi against Barcelona. But the front three seem never get injured. And Van Dijk, do you know what I mean? Robertson, Trent.
You can kind of look at that two ways where they never get injured. That's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
There's got to be some
sort
of...
there's got to be some sort of shift of... Like, I watched them in the Charity Shield, like I said, no Charity Shield, but Arsenal were quite... They went toe-to-toe. And the one for me is Mane. I think he opens the game up and he's their main player. If Mane's not at it, I think they struggle to get beyond teams. But
I think Thiago will be a good sign for them as well, because
Thiago's the different midfielder. Liverpool's midfield is a dynamic, and Thiago's that calm influence in there. And I think against the lower teams, his patience and his vision might be able to cut. But it's been going on for a while.
He's a City type
player.
He's a City type player. City that calm, composed, just picking the ball left, right and centre. He's quite industrial midfield, Liverpool's.
I feel guilty talking about Liverpool, saying like something has to happen. They've been I think 196 points in the past two seasons.
Factually, we're wrong.
Yeah. Factually, if they play as they have been playing, they'll win the league again. But for me, the humans at the end of the day, for two seasons, when they finished 1 point behind Man City on 97 points, I thought there's no way that they're the most unlucky team in Premier League history. There's no way they can do it again. They've got to have some sort of repercussions. Yeah. Didn't happen.
What's the they won't do it again?
Yeah, no, they could prove us wrong.
I think this is why we obviously both put the both badges below because it is so close and they deserve to be talked about in their own right.
Yeah, of course, these two,
but yet again, I'm going to kind of wrap it up with to say, I think City can't have as bad a season as they did, and Liverpool unhuman, like can't have a good season
Yeah.
as they did before. So I think there will be a switch at the top two.
Right, that's been our Premier League predictions. That's our full table. Let us know in the comments. Are we way off? Do you agree with us? The relegation, let us know. Are you fans of any? Tell us why you think you'll stay up. Our next video, we're going to do our first predictions for the Premier League coming up, the results and stuff. That'll be coming towards the end of the week, just before the Premier League fixtures. But yeah, this has been Brother v Brother. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. I just want to mention our last videos. Over 550 views. Honestly, we can't believe it. The feedback's been unbelievable. If you enjoy it, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We really appreciate it. Like I said, you'll be seeing a lot of our faces during the season. And then get in the comments. We love replying to comments. Are we right? Are we wrong?
Reply to a few, haven't you, in the championship one?
Yeah, the championship. We had a few comments, and sometimes we're looking as outsiders for teams. Tell us something different that we haven't mentioned and say this is why you think this will happen, and we'll get back in the comments. But yeah, this has been Brother Breed Brother. We'll see you on the next time. Catch you later. Bye.